So now that we have our actual content aligned in the middle, and we have somewhat of a very, very simple layout. I mean, it's just one div container that's being put in the middle over there. I want to get this rounded corners and this gradient. Now, if you've done work with CSS, you know that I just want to say plain old CSS without any JavaScript or jQuery in there, you know that you kind of jump through hoops to get rounded corners, right? There's a couple of techniques where you could put hooks in your div container, and you put little images on the corners. I know that some browsers support the rounded corners thing, but it's not. There's some lack of consistency there. So things are getting better. CSS3 is going to, once everybody fully supports CSS3, it's going to take a lot of this work out of it. Although we still have to get this gradiated or this gradient background as well. Because look, once I open it, this portion becomes a lot more white and it gets darker and darker. You know, you see how it gets brighter and brighter, and it's, you know, regardless of whether this box is fully expanded or collapsed. Let's see. It's, you know, you see this gradient actually, it's animated. So there's one way to do this, or there's more than one way rather to say to do this, but the one way that I got this accomplished very quickly and easily is by using a jQuery plugin. Now, jQuery plugins are things like added functionality that you could add to the jQuery framework that is not as common as all the things that they already have in there. So they don't want to put all this functionality inside of the main jQuery library, because then it's going to be just more code, and then it becomes bloated, takes longer to download, and all that stuff. So the plugin that I'm using over here can be found in plugins.jQuery /projects or /project /JACG. So this right here is the URL, and what this plugin does is not only does it do the rounded corners, but it does a gradient as well. So it's killing two birds with one stone for us. Now, in order to use it, since, you know, at least for this video, we're assuming we never used it before, so we're kind of like downloading something that supposedly works. We're going to test it out, and we're going to read whatever documentation it has and actually try to implement it. Now, in your jQuerying life, you'll bump into a lot of plugins that are said to work and all that, and you try to implement them according to the documentation, and it just doesn't work out for you. Honestly, sometimes the documentation is really poor and it's like a lot harder than you want it to be to implement it. Other times the plugin is just doesn't really work that well, so you can't always blame yourself for it. You know, if in the end these plugins are supposed to save you time, right? If you end up trying to use a plugin and spending a whole mess of time just trying to get it to work, you're kind of defeating the purpose, right? Especially if you know a different way to go about to get the solution you're looking for. But for now, I'm going to download it. Actually, I've already downloaded it and put it in my folder over here. Put it right on my desktop, and let me go to my desktop and show you what we have. So it comes as a zipped file. I'm going to unzip it, and inside of there is some stuff. Okay, there's a demo file, there's the jQuery min. Now we don't need this, right, because we already have, see, this is jQuery 1.4.1, but we're using 1.4.4 currently, so we don't need that, but it certainly needs it for its own demo page. And this is the actual plugin. So let's take a peek at what this plugin looks like. Okay, now this is someone who actually set up a very complex program over here, as you could tell. I mean, if you look through it, you could kind of make out what's going on because you already have a little bit of experience with jQuery, so some of this looks sort of familiar, but you know, there's a lot of stuff in here that you don't know, and but honestly, there's a good portion of it you don't even need to worry about. So, as far as this goes, most good plugins don't require you to mess around with their options inside of the actual JS file at all. Now, you know, it's people are making these plugins with various degrees of expertise, so your mileage may vary. You know, you may find a plugin that is all over the place, is a mess. So you know, just so you know, there's no there's a you know, best practices and approaches kind of way to build these things, but hey, you get what you pay for, and as you saw, I paid nothing for this, so I got to take it as is.